Hey everyone, welcome back to another video on my channel. Hope you guys are doing well and staying safe. So today I wanted to do a video on how to study for the cars section in the MCAT. If you don't know about this section is basically an equivalent to like the reading section, reading comprehension section in the SAT. And I would say it's probably like 100 times harder. But don't worry, I'm going to try to give you some really good tips on how you can prepare. So the first thing is that you want to get familiar with the format, right? So the car section has 53 questions, and you have 90 minutes to complete them. And there are a total of 9 passages. So that basically means that you have around 10 minutes to spend on each passage. And later on, I'll kind of tell you about how you should space your timing for that. Obviously, you don't want to just do it like that on the spot. You want to leave some time at the end to review your questions. But that is the timing and how many questions you have. So yes, you can study. I know a lot of people sometimes say like, oh, you can't study for the car section. Yes, you can. There's no like content to study, but you can definitely study the way to answer the questions. And the first step, which you just did, so congratulations, you're already studying, which was to get familiar with the format. And literally cars is just practice, a bunch of practice. That's all you can do. Practice, practice, practice. I don't know how many times to say it, but that's the only way to get better at it. I did a lot of practice when I took my MCAT, and, I feel like if I had done even more practice, I would have gotten a better score. But regardless, like I was very happy with my score. But if you want a good score, you should practice a lot. And there's a ton of resources out there. At the end, you'll probably think like, oh, I'm running out of resources because you'll be practicing so much. But the key material that I would recommend is the AAMC material. That's the first material that you want to hone down on, because that's what is similar to the actual format of the test, because the AAMC makes the MCAT. So the AAMC, I believe they have question banks, they have big practice tests. So I would buy all of those from their website and do those. And Exam Crackers is also a very, very good company, especially for cars. They have this big book that has a bunch of practice questions. I'm sure you can Google it on Amazon. You can find it for like $20 or something. But it has a really, really good practice. And then UWorld was one that I also used, and I used the free version of UWorld because I didn't want to pay. But again, it was a really, really good resource, and it was actually similar to how the MCAT looks too. But again, there's a ton of resources out there. Kaplan has their own thing, Princeton. So like really just kind of see what you're comfortable with and use that. And then once you're done with that, maybe you can get more practice material from different companies. And remember, it's a marathon, not a race. So what I mean by this is that you want to start off slow and kind of build your way up. So let's say day 1 you start off with 1 passage a day. So the whole week you do a passage a day. Then the second week of your prep you build up to 2 or 3 passages a day. And you can kind of scatter them throughout the day, and then start doing it that you're doing it back to back. And this way you're kind of going to build up your momentum and your ability to concentrate on reading and analyzing passages over a longer period of time. And what I would do is I would start off reading your passages untimed. So remember before I told you have 90 minutes for 53 questions. So I would start off your practice doing untimed practice questions, and then once you've built up good strategies and a good way to kind of navigate through the passages, your reading strategies, whatever you want, if you're underlining, if you're making like little notes as you read, or if you're just making mental notes as you read, and then kind of ways how you answer your questions, once you kind of figure that out, then I would start adding the element of time. So there's really a lot of different factors that go in helping you succeed in the MCAT. And oopsie daisies. And so you want to make sure that you kind of hone in on them individually. And the next thing that I want to reiterate that I talked about before was that I told you have 90 minutes, right? But you don't want to just spend 10 minutes on each passage. That is a very, very bad idea, because then you'll have no time at the end to review your questions that you were kind of iffy on. And we all have those questions that we mark and we're like, I'm kind of not really sure. But you want to try to hone down to 8 minutes per passage. And so what this does is that gives you 2 extra minutes, right? And remember I told you you had 90 total minutes and 9 passages. So that means if I multiply 2 by 9, that gives me 18 minutes. So you'll have around 18 minutes left over to kind of go over the questions you were a little iffy on. So that's just a recommendation that I have. Again, everybody has their own kind of way that they attack cars. So definitely try to find your own way. And that is it for my presentation. Again, I just want to reiterate, practicing is key. And this is something that you have to do throughout your MCAT prep. I would start doing cars practice from day one. I would even start doing cars practice before you start studying for the MCAT. It's not going to hurt you in any way. It's only going to help you. Maybe when you start college, you start doing like cars passages a day. You can find them on random websites on Google. And I think all of that is really going to help you at the end. But yeah, I hope this video helped you. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to DM me on Instagram at EurekaMed. And also you can comment below in the YouTube channel